The last bell of the day rang through Crestwood High, echoing down the long corridors like a tired sigh. Students poured out of classrooms, laughter and chatter filling the air, but in room 2B, one girl stayed behind, quiet, small, and unnoticed. Her name was Lena Hale, 17, a transfer student who barely spoke. She sat at her desk, stuffing her worn-out notebook into a second-hand backpack, trying her best not to meet anyone's eyes. Her pale skin and tired expression made her look like someone carrying a weight no one could see. The room had emptied except for a group of 3 students who lingered near the back, whispering and snickering. Their leader, Troy Benson, a tall, broad-shouldered boy with a cruel grin, leaned back in his chair, spinning a pen between his fingers. His girlfriend, Chloe, perched on a desk beside him, her glossy lips curved into a smirk. The third, Dylan, chewed gum obnoxiously, cracking it as he watched Lena zip up her bag. "Yo, transfer girl," Troy called out, his tone playful but venomous beneath the surface. "You gonna hide behind that desk forever?" Lena froze. Her fingers clutched the strap of her backpack tightly. She didn't look up, didn't answer. She'd learned silence sometimes worked better than words. But silence today only fueled them. Chloe slid off the desk, her heels clicking across the floor. "She's weird," she said loudly. "Always sitting alone. Never talks to anyone. Probably thinks she's better than us." "Nah," Troy said, standing up slowly, stretching like a predator before the hunt. "She's just scared." He walked toward Lena, his shadow falling over her desk. "Hey," he said, voice lowering. "Look at me when I talk to you." Lena swallowed hard. She looked up, her gray eyes cold but trembling with something unspoken. "I just want to go home," she whispered. "Then go," Troy said, stepping aside. But when she tried to pass, he blocked her. His smile widened. "Oops. Guess the door's closed." The laughter from his friends echoed off the walls. Lena's throat tightened. She tried to move around him, but Chloe shoved her back lightly, her voice mocking. "Ow, the little mouse wants to leave. Maybe we should help her squeak louder." Troy snickered. "You know, I don't like new people who act like they're invisible. Makes me want to remind them they're not." Dylan laughed. "Yeah, man, give her a welcome to Crestwood." Before Lena could react, Troy's hand snatched her backpack strap, jerking her backward. Her books fell, papers fluttering across the floor. She gasped, stumbling. "Stop," she said, her voice cracking. "Please stop, stop," Troy repeated, pretending to think. "Nah." Then his knee slammed into her stomach. The sound that escaped her lips was barely human, a soft, breathless cry as she fell to the floor, clutching her abdomen. The others laughed harder. "You're pathetic," Chloe said, crouching down, grabbing a fistful of Lena's hair. "You think anyone cares about you here? You're just another loser who'll transfer out when it gets too hard." Lena tried to crawl away, her vision blurring. "Please," she whispered again. But Troy wasn't done. He stepped closer, his boot pressing against her arm, holding her in place. "You look like you could use a real welcome," he sneered. And then he kicked her. The first hit caught her in the side of the face. Her head snapped sideways, blood instantly blooming from her lip. The second kick hit her ribs. Chloe and Dylan froze for a second, even they didn't expect him to go that far. But Troy was laughing, drunk on the power. "Don't act so soft, babe," he said when Chloe hesitated. "She's fine. Just teaching her not to hide." Lena's body trembled. Her vision was swimming. And then, her backpack lying open beside her spilled its contents. A small black ID card slid out onto the floor, face down, glinting faintly under the fluorescent light. Troy's foot brushed against it. "What's this?" he muttered, picking it up. He flipped it over, and the laughter stopped. The color drained from his face. Chloe frowned. "What's that?" "It's..." Troy stammered, his voice suddenly thin, uncertain. "It's an ID, government issued." Chloe leaned in to see. On the front was a military-grade emblem, the kind only high-clearance personnel carried. Below it was Lena's photo, but not in a school uniform. She was wearing a black tactical vest with a serious, cold stare. The text beneath read, "Lena Hale, Junior Operative, Division 7 Counterintelligence." For a long second no one breathed. Dylan blinked, then stepped back slowly. "Dude, what the hell is that?" Troy's hands trembled slightly as he read the rest. "Clearance levels restricted. Field experience classified." He swallowed. "This can't be real." Lena slowly pushed herself up, her lips bleeding, eyes focused like a blade. She wiped the blood away with her sleeve and whispered, "You shouldn't have done that." The tone in her voice had changed. It was calm, but laced with something terrifying. Chloe stammered, "What are you?" "Some kind of soldier." Lena's gaze met hers. "Something like that." She stood, brushing the dust off her uniform, moving with an eerie steadiness. "My father trained agents. I was one of them." She reached out, taking the ID from Troy's trembling fingers. "This wasn't supposed to come out," she said softly, sliding it back into her bag. "But you forced me." Troy stepped back. "We didn't know. Look, we were just—" "You kicked me," Lena interrupted. Her voice was low, deliberate. "Twice. Do you know what that means, where I come from?" Chloe's eyes darted toward the door. "We're sorry." "Sorry doesn't fix broken bones," Lena said. Her tone was almost detached, like she was analyzing targets. She took a slow step forward. Troy flinched, his back hitting the chalkboard. "Don't come closer." "Do you know what the first rule of Division 7 is?" Lena said, her voice now sharp and calm. "Never start a fight you can't finish." Troy blinked, and in that instant Lena moved. It was too fast for them to process. Her hand caught his wrist, twisting it with surgical precision. Troy screamed as his body hit the floor, his arm bent at an impossible angle. Chloe gasped, running for the door, but Lena kicked the chair beside her. It spun across the room, blocking her path. Dylan froze, pale, his gum falling from his mouth. "You're crazy!" he shouted. Lena turned toward him, eyes burning. "No," she said quietly. "I'm trained." Within seconds, Dylan found himself disarmed and pinned against the wall, Lena's elbow pressing into his throat. "You wanted to see me scared," she whispered. "Do I look scared now?" He shook his head frantically. She let him go, stepping back, breathing heavily but controlled. Chloe had sunk to the floor, trembling. Troy was groaning, clutching his arm. "Please, don't tell anyone," he stammered. "We were just messing around." Lena looked at him coldly. "You think this was messing around?" She knelt beside him. "I joined this school to forget who I was. I wanted peace. But people like you don't understand peace." Her voice softened but stayed sharp as glass. "You only understand power." Troy's eyes filled with fear. "We won't tell anyone, please." Lena stood up slowly. "Good. Because if you do—" She leaned closer, her words cutting through the silence. "They won't find your names on any student list again." The room was still. Only the sound of the clock ticking filled the space. Then Lena slung her backpack over her shoulder and walked out of the room without another glance. Her footsteps echoed in the hallway, steady, confident, unbroken. Behind her, Troy, Chloe, and Dylan sat in stunned silence, their fear hanging heavy in the air. Outside, the late afternoon light bathed the empty hallway. Lena walked past the lockers, brushing her fingers against the metal, her mind spinning. She didn't want to be this person again, the one trained to fight, to hurt. But sometimes the past didn't let you stay soft. As she reached the exit, she glanced back at the classroom one last time, her lips curled into a small, cold smile. Next time, she whispered to herself, they'll think twice before kicking someone who stays quiet. And with that, she stepped out into the sunlight, the door closing softly behind her.